there's somebody I spoke to recently, and they were in a relationship way too long, and they continue to blame themselves for not ending it at the beginning.
Yeah.
And we've had this conversation a couple times, and because he's like, I saw all these problems really soon, and the relationship was terrible for the whole way through, but there is something about her that I really loved, and at the end, like, he's had to process a lot of this, because I'm sure you've seen, as a relationship gets worse, everybody gets worse in it. It's not because one person or the other, it's just a dynamic that just goes to zero.
They're bringing out the worst in each other, often.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, and the answer is that you should be together. So, like, how does someone forgive themselves in a scenario like that?
That's the step one. It's like,
Yeah.
It is about, for your friend, it's about his understanding that he didn't know that at the time. You know what I mean? He didn't know what he didn't know. He now knows a lot better because he has the benefit of hindsight, which is, as they say, 2020. He can see back and say, well, look at all the signs I should have seen. Well, were you supposed to be a different person? What do you mean you should have seen it? I'm trying to think. There's all kinds of things I can look back and say, I should have done that differently. Even things like, oh, I know better than that. But at the moment I didn't know better,
Yeah, these are things I have to work on as well, because that's why I can relate to him so much, because I've had similar experiences, and that's a hard one. It's just like, fuck, I saw these things in the first 3 months. Yeah. I knew this was going to be a nightmare, and I liked something, and so I thought maybe it could get better, and you're like, no, it's not going to get better. Run.
So,
and
my wife and I, we talk about this on our podcast. My wife's name is Judy Alexander, different last name. I only say that because my ex-wife's name is Judy Chalmer, which is sort of funny. So we all get along. But we both were in first marriages that, for very different reasons, didn't work. And saying nothing bad about our exes, who were fine people, but for differing reasons, which I won't bother going into, that's their privacy involved, didn't work out. And we are both so completely appreciative of each other for having found a marriage that works well. It's funny. We've joked about, I should write a book on relationships, and it's just 4 words: find the right person. Any questions, but you don't know you haven't got the right person until you know that.
Oh, that's it. It's so true, though. It is so true that so many of these dynamic problems would disappear if there's someone that is just more compatible for your type of personality as well. There really is so much of that. And so isn't I guess an answer is, like, especially for meeting the right person, like, you really have to do a lot of dates and be more discerning. Yeah. And it's hard to know that when you're 18 or even 30 or even 35, because you haven't seen all the different permutations of personalities.
Exactly. And look, in terms of, like, couples that form a life together, things happen that radically change the situation. You have kids, for example, right. you move in together, and, the sort of milestones that often happen in people's relationships, that can often bring about changes you simply have no way to anticipate until you experience them. So, you only know what you know when you know it. I mean, that's the central, what would I call it? Spiritual work, I guess, of forgiving yourself, forgiving the other, forgiving forgiving God, whatever you want to call it. The central spiritual work is all about acceptance of reality as it is. And as I say, if you add that one extra spin, it's not just accepting reality, it's accepting the rightness of it. It's like, there's something right about the fact that we couldn't figure this out until we could figure it out. Because if people were that good at discerning, who knows if, I'm sure it would have all kinds of bad effects that, there's a reason why it takes as long as it takes.
Right.
And,
I love that line too. It takes as long as it takes. So let's review the 3 things. So it's forgive yourself.
Yep.
The universe is the third one. What's
forgive the one who hurt you, right? Forgive yourself, forgive the person who hurt you, and then forgive God, the universe, whatever you want to say.
Right. After this show, I'm going to see if I can find that person who wrote the book on forgiveness, because she has some ideas that I think you really like. That they're more like esoteric, spiritual, where she's like, forgive all of 1978 if you need to. Forgive the energy around that person.
Absolutely.
Forgive the house that this should happen into. And she says it becomes a practice of forgiveness, because if you're not ready to forgive that person, forgive the car they drove when they yelled at you at that time, or all those things. And I found that, like,
I like that.
Really,
Yeah.
really, 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 really great.
Yeah, that's all about acceptance. It's all about that sense of, oh, that's my one word for all of that is faith. That's what I mean by faith. It's just sort of saying,
right.
forgive the universe for being what it is. It has reasons. It has reasons that are way beyond any individual. We're in the middle of it. We can't comprehend all of it. We're in the middle of it.